Welcome to this channel. Here we are going to talk about the stories of our Holy Bible. And today's story will be about Joseph in prison, so let's go. Joseph was taken to Egypt, where the Ishmaelites sold him to an Egyptian named Potiphar, an official who was the captain of the palace guard. The Lord God was with Joseph. He lived in his owner's house and did very well in everything. Joseph's owner saw that the Lord was with him and was blessing him in everything he did. Thus, Joseph gained the sympathy of his owner, who put him as his personal helper. Potiphar gave Joseph the responsibility of looking after his household and taking care of everything that belonged to him. From then on, because of Joseph, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's home and also everything he had in the house and in the field. Potiphar gave Joseph everything he had and didn't care about anything except the food he ate. Jose was a nice kind of man. Some time later, his owner's wife began to covet Joseph. One day she said, "Come on, let's go to bed." He refused, saying thus, "Listen. My owner doesn't have to worry about anything in this house, because I'm here. He made me responsible for everything he has. In this house I rule as much as he does. Here I can have whatever I want, except you, because she's his wife. So how could I do such an immoral thing and sin against God?" Every day she insisted that he go to bed with her, but Jose did not agree and also avoided being near her. But one day, as usual, he went into the house to do his work, and no servant was there. Then she grabbed him by the cloak and said, "Come on, let's go to bed." But he escaped and ran outside, leaving the cloak in her hands. When she noticed that, when he fled, he had left the cloak in her hands, the woman called the servants of the house and said, "Look! This Hebrew, whom my husband brought home, is insulting us. He came into my room and wanted to have sex with me, but I screamed as loud as I could. As soon as I started screaming loudly, he ran away, leaving his cloak in my room." She kept the cover until Joseph's owner returned. Then she told the same story, like this. "That Hebrew slave, whom you brought home, entered my room and wanted to abuse me. But I screamed loudly, and he ran out, leaving his cloak in my room. See how your slave treated me." When she heard this story, Jose's owner was very angry. He grabbed Joseph and put him in jail where the king's prisoners were kept. And Joseph stood there. But the Lord was with him and blessed him, so that he won the jailer's favor. He put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners, and he was in charge of everything that was done in the prison. The jailer was not concerned about anything given to Joseph, for the Lord was with him and blessed him in everything he did. After some time, the king of Egypt was offended by two of his servants, namely, the chief cupbearer, who was in charge of serving wine, and the chief baker. The king was furious with the two and ordered that they be put in jail in the captain of the guard's house, in the same place where Joseph was imprisoned. They stayed there a long time, and the captain gave Joseph the task of taking care of them. One night, there in jail, the butler and the baker each had a dream. And every dream meant something. When Joseph came to see them in the morning, he noticed that they were worried. Then he asked, "Why are you looking so sad today?" They answered, "Each of us has had a dream, and there's no one who can explain what those dreams mean." "It's God who gives us the ability to explain our dreams," said Jose. "Come on, tell them what you dreamed." Then the chief cupbearer told his dream. He said, "I dreamed that in front of me there was a vine that had 3 branches. As soon as the leaves came out, the flowers appeared, and these turned into ripe grapes. I was holding the king's cup." Jose said, "The explanation is as follows: the 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days the king will have him released. You will go back to your work and serve the king wine as you used to. However, when you are very well there, remember me and please be so good as to speak about me to the king, thus helping me to get out of this chain. The truth is that it was by force that they took me out of the land of the Hebrews and brought me to Egypt, and even here in Egypt I didn't do anything to end up in jail." When the chief baker saw that the explanation was good, he said, I had a dream too. I dreamed that I was carrying 3 baskets of bread on my head. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods that bakers make for the king. And the birds came and ate that food. Joseph explained it like this. Your dream means this: the 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days the king will release you and have your head cut off. Then his body will be hung on a wooden pole, and the birds will eat his flesh. 3 days later the king celebrated his birthday by throwing a feast for all his officials. He ordered the chief butlers and the chief bakers to be released and ordered them to come to the feast. And exactly what Joseph had said happened. The king returned the butler to his old job of serving wine to the king and had the baker executed. But the chief of cupbearers did not remember Joseph. He completely forgot about him. If you liked this video, don't forget to leave your like.